God has filled my cup. The same cup I handed over to Premier Academy. They emptied and broken it, handed back to me, broken.
The death of Keren-Happuch has left a void in her family, but the unresolved puzzle surrounding her death is begging for answers from investigations by the Nigerian police force. From her elder brother, her mother to her grandmother, Keren was beloved. The deceased brought special moments and joy into their lives.
CDOT, man.
No in this bag, bitch.
Keren loved music and dancing. Her mother says she danced to entertain the family as well as her peers on the social media app TikTok. Months after her death, the family recalled in grief how unbearable each passing day felt like, living with just the memory of what she left behind and the times they shared.
It's her presence. It's not the same without her.
Always, if I'm not staying here, say she will always talk to me on phone. As this thing happened, please, my son, I can't say. I never know what to say. She was a good person. She was more than a daughter. She was a good person. She wanted good for everybody around her.
On the 22nd of June 2021, an unconscious Keren took her last breath at about 2:30 a.m. in Abuja's Queen's Hospital. An SS1 student of Premier Academy Lube, she died as a result of medical complications that ended her life abruptly days after leaving school with her mother for an eye checkup. The mother of the deceased, Vivienne Akphager, said it all started on Friday, 18th of June, when her daughter called saying she wanted to return home as she had developed some difficulties with her eyes.
So the next day, Saturday, I called the school matron and told her that I had spoken to Keren, and Keren said she had a red eye. So I want to come and pick her. So what the matron told me was that, yes, she reported to her on Thursday that she came to her and said, "Ma, see this, my eye has started again." And they've been dropping allergy eye drops, but it's not letting. So I told her that no, it's not an allergy, because the last time I took her for her eye check, they said she had astigmatism. So I would like to come and pick her so that we'll go back. She's due, they had to give her glasses, which they have not given her.
Not wanting her child to be placed in isolation for 7 days, Vivienne decided against taking Keren home. She was convinced by the matron of the school, Grace Salami, to pay the sum of 5,000 naira into the school's account for Keren's transportation to the clinic for checkup the following day. But Keren was unhappy with the decision. She wanted to go home, even after the school said her health condition could be managed.
I said, "Are you leaving me to go back with these people?" The nurse heard, then I was close work. I said, "No, go. Just go, I'll come for you." So they left. So immediately they left, I called the principal. I said, "I still want to pick my daughter to spend the weekend at home. Can I come?" He said, he now asked me if she was there with me. I said, "No, they have left because I did not collect an exit, and then she has to pack her things." He now said, "Okay, when you get to school, call me." I got to school. I called him. Got to school about past 1. I called him. He did not pick. I called the clinic matron. She picked and told me that now they have established that it's a bacterial infection and the hospital has given her medication. There's no need for her coming home. They will take care of her. But after I spoke with her, I still called the principal, and he said, "Madam, if you take your daughter, just like the matron told you, she will spend 5 days." This time he said 5 days in isolation. That we are taking care of her. At that point, I said, let me leave. So I turned back and before I even left Lugbe, my daughter called me. I said, Mommy, where are you now? I said, I came, but the school turned me back that they can take care of you. She started crying.
Vivienne said she wasn't so pleased by her daughter's persistence, given that the holidays were just around the corner. However, she quickly changed her mind when her daughter's house mistress told her over a call that Keren was in bad shape.
You should disregard whatever the matron is telling you. This girl could not even walk to school on Wednesday the 16th. She was supported by her friends who were directing her, put your leg here, or something like that. And she wrote her test that day crying. So when I heard this, I started calling the matron. We turned back, called the matron, called the principal. They would not pick. So I sent them a text that I'm not comfortable leaving my daughter. I still want to take her home. But they did not send a reply. So I called the house mother and told her that they are not picking my calls. She said, Madam, come to the gate, make a lot of noise. They should let you take your daughter home. So I got to the gate. I went to the security and told him I wanted to see the principal. He said, okay, let me place a call to him. Called the principal. The principal asked him who was it, and he said Mrs. Akphager. So at that point, I don't know what the principal said, but he moved away from me into the school compound. And after a while, came back, and I asked him what was it he said. He said, I don't know what I don't understand what he was saying. That was just what he said. So I kept on calling him. He wouldn't pick. Called the matron wouldn't pick.
After hours of trying to get the school's approval to take her daughter home, she was finally granted an exit, but said she was surprised by the unusual request by the school security to present her ID before taking her daughter home.
Then my daughter came out with her hand in her face. She just came at the security post. She now stood at the wall and placed her hand on the wall. So when I asked her to, the security man said no. They said we should snap your ID card before you take her. And that was the first time, because my sons also were in that school. I've been picking them. That was the first time they were asking to snap my ID card. And that was the first time the matron was telling me that she can't give me an exit. Because during Salah, when I went there and she had a red eye, I asked her for the exit, and she prepared that exit in record time for me. She wasn't in school, but she told me she would ask someone to do it, and they did it. So I was, why are you? They said the principal said they must snap my ID card. So I gave them my driver's license, and they snapped it, and I took her.
On getting home, the mother said her daughter had begun to behave strangely. She said she noticed vomit on her daughter's clothes at about 11 p.m. and by 4 a.m. the following day, Keren had become quite uncoordinated. 2 hours later, Vivienne and her daughter arrived at the Queen's Hospital for treatment.
I saw how weak she was. They put in a drip and were trying to put in a catheter so that to collect. Then they saw it's the discharge, and they called me and told her, Madam, see this discharge. Maybe she has candidiasis. So after that, they put in the catheter. She was struggling. Even at home, when I was trying to dress her up to take her to the clinic, she kept on saying, don't touch me, no, leave me, don't touch me. So I was, but we got to the hospital, she was still repeating those words, don't touch me, don't touch me. But finally they put the catheter, but she kept on struggling and struggling. We had to hold her down. At the point they had to restrain her.
The bereaved mother, Vivienne Akphager, was shocked after the resident doctor at the hospital, Oliver Amugo, revealed her daughter's test results.
The doctor came, and that same discharge again came up. So the doctor removed it and told them to test it. So after the test, they came back to me and called me out and said, Madam, we've tested her urine, and we've tested that discharge is not discharge, it's condom. And the urine has dead spermatozoa. And at that time, this was around 1, 2, she was still struggling. What are you putting in? Mommy, please, you people should just let me go and pee. So And the way she's struggling shows someone that has lived, because she was not really conscious, she was just going through the trauma that she had gone through. But she has been stabilized. She came in with a very high blood sugar reading.
While still unconscious, her blood sugar level rose. Keren, who was earlier diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 9, died as a result of hypoglycemia at about 2:30 a.m. The family is now crying out and seeking for justice after the death of their daughter. They fear the same fate might befall others if the truth of what happened to Keren is not made public.
And the thing what I want now, I want the truth on my granddaughter, because she will save other people.
Sexual harassment of young girls like Keren in Premier Academy, Abuja, is not uncommon. Her elder brother recalled how a former physical education teacher in the school, Onitilo Keke, was indefinitely suspended for sexually harassing a student.
The staff and the students.
Yes.
The staff and the students. So said he harassed the students. I don't really know much about this. Just I heard that one of the teachers touched the girl, something like that.
However, police investigations, according to her mother, did not yield enough results to pacify the grieving family. Vivienne fears that the FCT Police Command has not done much in trying to bring her daughter's rapist to book. She told the ICIR that she was denied access to her daughter's medical report and autopsy results.
But I believe as the mother of the child, I should have those reports to at least have something to hold on that will tell me this happened to your daughter and this was the result of the investigation we carried out on her.
The ICIR contacted the FCT Police Command over Vivienne Akphager's concerns. Public Relations Officer of the command, Josephine Ade, promised to get back with details on the cause, but did not do this. The ICIR also scheduled an interview with Premier Academy Lube, but the acting principal at the time, Chris Akinshanwo, cancelled the meeting on the day of the interview. Since Keren's death, Vivienne, alongside her lawyer, have worked tirelessly to ensure that justice prevails over the cause of her child's death. She has taken to the streets to protest and create awareness on various media outlets. She hopes the Nigerian government would help in unraveling the mystery behind a condom found in her daughter's genitals shortly before her death. Keren's case is not an isolated one, as more children in some schools around the country are making the headlines in recent times. Communications Officer at Dorothy Njemanze Foundation, Noya Sedi, in an interview with the ICIR says, a lack of proper orientation of school children is a major reason for sexual violence in Nigerian schools. For Ajayi Kayode, she believes a collaboration between the government and non-governmental agencies is required in order to end sexual violence against children in the country.